cosmos to space. So with 3 minutes 50 seconds left on the clock to get us there, let's hand it over to Mission Control and listen in to those final counts.
All stations LD on mission. From now, there should be no red flags on your critical LCCs. VCON LD mission.
LD VCON.
Please lock auto sequence and confirm.
Confirmed.
Confirm all flight computer ASGOs are green.
Confirmed.
Okay, all stations, we are go for auto sequence start at T-minus 2 minutes. LD is go for launch.
The vehicle is fully on internal power. AFTS is green and enabled for flight.
Box load complete. System is in recirculation. Anti-Kaisering is disabled.
Stage 1 and 2 tanks are pressed for flight.
High flow engine purge enabled.
T-minus 20 seconds and counting. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
Electron has left the pad and is off to meet the cosmos on this launch from Launch Complex 1. And as velocity increases, we are coming up quickly on the moment of max Q, or maximum aerodynamic pressure against the rocket as it clears through Earth's atmosphere. We'll hear the call out from our GNC operator in Mission Control shortly that is monitoring Electron's guidance and positioning.
Approaching max Q. Cleared max Q.
And Electron has cleared max Q at T plus 1 minute and 20 seconds into the mission. The launch vehicle is now passing 18 kilometers in altitude as it reaches speeds of over 2,500 kilometers an hour. And up next will be 3 events across Electron that will all happen within seconds of each other. First up will be MECO, which stands for Main Engine Cutoff. That's just as it sounds. That is when the 9 Rutherford engines at the bottom of Electron's first stage throttle down and then shut off completely ahead of stage separation. Then the second stage will separate from stage 1, and 3 seconds later, its vacuum Rutherford engine ignites to carry on with the mission. You'll be able to see those 3 events happen in real time from Electron's cameras, and those call-outs should be coming from Mission Control shortly too.
Fifteen seconds to
burnout
stage.
detect mode.
MECO confirmed.
Stage separation confirmed.
Stage 2 ignition confirmed.
Stage 2 guidance is nominal.
That is MECO. Stage separation and second stage ignition all successfully cleared for Electron as we continue on to orbit. The vehicle is moving now at more than 8,000 kilometers an hour at more than 100 kilometers above Earth on our way to that 1,050 kilometer target orbit. Now, there should be no blockers for the next milestone, and that will be fairing jettison, when Electron's nose cone splits and separates to expose those open cosmos payloads to space. And there it
Fairing
goes.
jettison
That is
confirmed.
Electron's fairing separated and fallen away as planned. And there on your screen are the Open Cosmos satellites integrated to our kick stage and attached to Electron's second stage as it powers past 8,600 kilometers an hour now. Our next milestone will be battery hot swap for that vacuum Rutherford engine there, scheduled to take place at around 6.5 minutes into flight. Four minutes and 9 seconds into the mission now. There's Electron from our ground tracking camera, and we're also hearing nominal calls from our operators in Mission Control, which shows that all remains healthy with those Open Cosmos satellites on board Electron. Now, a couple more minutes to go until we reach battery hot swap on that second stage. And what that involves is that the Rutherford engine that uses its electric motors and high voltage batteries to feed propellant into its combustion chamber, those batteries are ejected because the longer session of the second stage's journey means that the batteries it started with run out before we reach the end. So we swap to a new set that will keep that engine running. All right, we are coming up on battery hot swap soon for that second stage engine. And when that switch out occurs, what you will see is the silver packs on your screen right now. They'll be jettisoned from the vehicle. And that's both our visual confirmation that the hot swap occurred, and we should also hear that call out from Mission Control at about the same time, which is around 6.5 minutes into the mission.
Guidance nominal. 200 seconds remaining.
HVB discharge holding nominal, approaching hot swap in roughly 30 seconds.
Throttling down.
Battery jettison confirmed.
Nicely done. That is battery hot swap successful for Electron's second stage Rutherford engine, with no change to the vehicle's trajectory, as that second stage clocks more than 16,000 kilometers an hour, now more than 280 kilometers above Earth. And next up will be SECO, or second engine cutoff, which is the moment that that engine will shut down to separate the kick stage into its nominal transfer orbit. Now, to reach the 1,050 kilometer orbit required for this mission, the kick stage is released at the mission's perigee, or the closest point to Earth in its trajectory, and then sent on an elliptical path to meet its apogee, the farthest point. Stage 2 vacuum nozzle is still glowing bright at 7.5 minutes into the stage 2 burn and 7.5 minutes into the mission overall. So have a look at the dials on your right hand side of your screen there. You will see the percentage of the propellant that is remaining in the stage 2, and we'll be taking these tanks all the way to empty during this burn. That's what will get us closer to that perigee before we can coast around the other side of Earth in preparation for payload deployment. At around 9 minutes into flight is when the engine shutdown for Electron's second stage is expected to take place, just before the kick stage with the Open Cosmos satellites are released to begin that elliptical journey. Now, just a few more seconds to go until that happens with the Rutherford, otherwise continuing to burn bright on your screen for its 6.5 minute duration. Now, the next call we should hear from Mission Control is that guidance is terminal for the second stage before engine shutdown. Let's listen in.
SECO confirmed.
Stage separation confirmed.
There we go. That was SECO confirmed across the nets and by what you saw on your screen there with that engine nozzle cooling down. Now that cutoff has occurred. And the kick stage is in its nominal transfer orbit as it heads toward that altitude target for this mission. Now that coast around the Earth will take around 55 minutes or so before the Curie engine on the kick stage lights up to course correct the orbit to a circular low Earth orbit. And we're going to take a break from the webcast while that happens, but we'll be back to follow along with the kick stage engine cutoff and payload separation at around T+1 hour 7 minutes. We'll see you back here soon.